Spiro Varras. Larry Burleffi, veteran sports writer, wrote, "There were those who said the timid kid out of the Reliance coal mines wouldn't be assertive enough to handle kids in their wildest years, and through it, Varras has emerged as the state's #1 basketball coach." Spiro Varras was born and raised in the small coal mining camp of Reliance, Wyoming. He developed his love of sports by being involved in every sport offered. His favorite sports were basketball and baseball, and summer evenings found him on the tennis court playing under the lights. In 1949, regardless of the size, all high schools competed in the same state basketball tournament. Reliance, one of the smallest high schools in the state, had 105 students in grades 9 through 12. They stunned the Wyoming basketball community by beating Cheyenne High School in a semifinal game. Cheyenne was the largest school in the state. Reliance reached the state championship but was beaten by Casper Natrona. This Reliance team was the Cinderella team of 1949 that has been remembered for years. Spiro, numbered 00, a senior on the team, was named to the All-State team. He was the first athlete from Reliance to be named to an All-State team. Spiro enrolled at the University of Wyoming in 1949 and graduated in 53 with a major in mathematics. His first teaching position was in Kemmerer for 1 year, and then he moved on to Superior for 2 years. At both schools, he assisted in all sports. Rock Springs Junior High was the next stop for 3 years, teaching mathematics and coaching basketball. He next accepted a position at Rock Springs High School teaching mathematics and assisting in track and basketball. After coaching 13 years on the junior high level, in 1965, Spiro was named head basketball coach. After taking over the Tigers basketball program from Stan Kouris, Varras coached teams wrapped up 8 West Conference championships. The Tigers reeled off 7 straight conference titles during their power-packed years as league kingpins. Varras' Tigers also added 7 regional championships during this era. The Tigers won 4 AA state championships and swept 3 consecutive crowns in 1971, 1972, and 1973. In 1976, a 4th title was added. In 1971, the Tigers won the All-Classes State Championship. This was the only time that involved a playoff with all the state champions. Over 14 years, his record was 261 wins and 68 losses. During this period, the Tigers won 20 championships. Respected by other Wyoming prep coaches, Spiro won the coveted Wyoming Coach of the Year honors for an unprecedented 4 years, 1971, 1973, 1975, and 1976. In 1977, he was named a finalist for the National High School Basketball Coach of the Year. In 1984, Spiro was inducted into the Wyoming Coaches Hall of Fame. Chuck Harkins of the Casper Star-Tribune wrote, "Spiro Varras has been called the Johnny Wooden of Wyoming high school basketball for his ability to establish a number of winning streaks and for playing in the state championship games in 6 of 7 years. A summer evening open gym for the public was available during his tenure as basketball coach. Basketball clinics for youth were also held. Spiro also compiled a manual containing fundamentals of offense and defense with drills for assistant coaches and church league coaches. Respected by his students, the RSHS annual was dedicated to Spiro in 1972, and he was selected Teacher of the Year by his peers in 1979. Spiro retired from coaching in 1979 and from teaching in 1991.
Well, I would tell everybody, if you know someone that deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, to make sure you get the information on them, write them up, and nominate them. Because I know a lot of people now that should be in the Hall of Fame that haven't been nominated. And I'd like to thank Karen McLean for nominating me, because otherwise I might not have gotten her. She got inducted. She really did a lot of work in writing me up and presenting it to the committee. And I'd like to thank my good assistant coach, Jack Norris. Over the years, he was with me. He gave me a lot of good tactics to use during the ball game. And I don't know if we'd won all 3 of those if he hadn't been with me. Then I'd like to mention 2 kids that are no longer with us, and they passed away way too soon. One was Gary Jackson, and he played in the 1971 and 72 state championship teams, and he was one of the quickest kids that ever played for us. And we had 4 super quick kids those years, and Gary was one of the 4. And I remember him in the championship game against Green River in all-classes state championship. And he was super quick, and he stole about 4 passes, which changed the tone of the game. And he was influential in those 2 state championships. And I just like to say he was a great individual as well as a good ball player, so we'll never forget him. Then Brady West, who I remember very well in the 1973 state championship game. Richard Bosner got in foul trouble within the first quarter, and he was our top scorer. And Brady did everything possible to keep us in that game. And honestly, I believe he played like a high school All-American that night, and did everything possible to keep us in the game. And the play that is impressed on my mind was Central was the team that was supposed to beat us by 15 points. This was a state championship game. Brady got they were like, we were 1 point ahead. They were like favored by 15 points. We were like 1 point ahead, and they had the ball and shot, and it was 20 seconds left. I remember Brady taking the ball and going straight down the middle of the floor, passing off to Kenny West, who hit a sidelight jumper, and I thought, my God, we won the third state championship, and that was Brady West. A great individual, a great character, and a very good ball player.